If you're just starting out in FPV, you've got lots to learn and a lot to get your head around. And you can either build something yourself from scratch, which is fantastic and very satisfying and very addictive, or you can choose one of the many really good, almost ready to fly drones. But even then, you've got to set up your transmitter and bind it to the receiver in the quad and configure the flight controller. But sometimes you just want to buy something now, open the box and have everything you need in there, ready to go and fly. And this Tinyhawk II ready to fly kit from EMAX is just that. You get the excellent Tinyhawk II Tiny Whoop, a set of FPV goggles, the RC transmitter and batteries, charger, cables, and everything you need to just go and fly. Hello and welcome to the Whirly Bloke channel. When you start out in FPV, you'll have to do lots of research to decide not only what parts you need for your build, but also what transmitter, goggles, batteries and battery charger you need to buy as well. And by research, I mean looking at YouTube for hours and hours. And there's a massive choice, so you will make mistakes along the way. And if you ask anyone who's been in FPV for a while, they'll have loads of little boxes and even shelves full of things someone or some YouTube channel recommended and they've really just never used. And if you build your own, no matter how much fun it is, there'll be lots of frustration because something isn't quite working like the YouTube channel explained. And you'll need to invest lots of time finding out about electronics, soldering, software, firmware, how to bind your radio, setting up Betaflight. The list is never ending. And while it's great fun, it's all time stopping you from doing the most fun thing, flying your FPV quad. This all-in-one ready-to-fly package from EMAX claims to have everything you need to get started and costs about £140, or that's $180, which looks fantastic value. And I thought it might be interesting to see just how beginner-friendly this really is. In this rather nice tough carry case, you get, let's have a look. Well, you've got the Tinyhawk II whoop size quad. It's got the props already fitted, which is really good. I have flown these before, they're actually excellent. And there's an RC transmitter here, which is sort of toy grade really. There's a pair of box FPV goggles. What else? And there's the battery for that. Look, it seems like it just plugs in the back there and you connect it up over here. And what else we got? There's a couple of high voltage LiPo batteries. This is 2S 300 mAh and this is 1S for 50 mAh. So it looks like this quad, and I know in fact that it will run quite happily on 1S or 2S, and 1S is going to be for indoors and 2S is going to be for outdoors. That's great. What else? That looks like a USB charger that will charge 1S and 2S by the looks of things. And we've got a USB charge connector and cable here, which is pretty good. And what else? We've got a bunch of stickers and some spare props here. And there's this warning card telling us which profile to set for 1S and 2S batteries. Bag of spares here, you get a little screwdriver, spare elastic bands. That's for fixing the LiPos underneath because you may break those. Spare connector and a couple of screws. And this looks like a getting started guide. Now, I have flown this Tinyhawk before when it first came out, and it really is very good for a tiny whoop. It's a pusher style with the props underneath, and although this looks like fairly flimsy plastic for the frame, it's pretty forgiving of crashes. And I've always liked this elastic band way of mounting batteries on whoops. And this transmitter is definitely toy grade. Let's get that out of the way. But I guess we'll see how well it works when we get it connected up. And these box goggles actually look okay. Let's have a quick check. The fit for me is actually quite good. And you've got the video channel selection here, and that's the frequency, and let's have a look. Yeah, those are the focus for the screen, which is pretty good. So before I start, I'll get all these batteries and the transmitter all charged up. Now I'm all charged up and everything's plugged in. I'm using the 1S battery to start off with. Let's get the transmitter turned on. That's good. And all the switches are pushed forward like it says in the starter guide. So let's have a look and see what we've got here. And that's awesome. We've got an image. Didn't have to set anything up. So EMAX have obviously pre-configured all the VTX settings. Now looking at the transmitter, this seems to be the arm switch according to the start guide, and in this position here it's disarmed. That sounds like it's the beeper, and that's armed. Excellent. Didn't have to do anything, that's very good. So, disarmed, beeper, armed. Oh, that's clever. All the LEDs come on as well. I didn't notice those. I don't think these were on the actual Tinyhawk that I tested before. Oh yes, they're all around there, that's very good. Now, one of the things that comes in the pack is this warning card, which talks about which profile to set when you're using either 1S or the 2S battery. So let's have a quick check and see what that's set to. Now you could connect this to your PC, but it's quicker to just turn on the Betaflight OSD setting menu in the goggles. So make sure your battery is connected and the quad's not armed. So all you need to do is move the left stick to the middle and all the way to the left, and the right stick all the way forward, and it brings up the OSD menu. And what you need to do is check the profile. So as you can see, you can navigate around this with the sticks, nice and easy. So if you right select, and we are on PID profile 1. To change it, just move it around like that. But we're flying on 1S, so as the warning card says, we need to be on PID profile 1. But if you do change anything, remember to save it, go back, save and exit, save and exit. So that is all set up. I wonder if it flies. Awesome. Let's get this out in the field and give it a proper test. I'm flying this on 1S, and to be honest, it's pretty good. I chose to use angle or stabilize mode, as you can see in the top left hand corner. I think that's what most beginners would use, and I recommend that because it's just easier to fly. And the image in the goggles is way better than I expected. It's not like my Sky Zones, but it's perfectly flyable, and they aren't heavy like some box goggles that I've tried. The image from the Runcam Nano 2 camera is excellent as always. This is struggling a bit in angle mode with the wind, but the quad only weighs about 40 grams with a battery, so it's going to get thrown around even in a light breeze. If you're totally new to FPV, I'd recommend flying this indoors first on 1S, just to get used to flying with goggles on. And because it's so light and the frame is quite soft and the props are guarded, you won't break anything or hurt anyone. The transmitter works okay, but it's very toy grade, and the stick's alright for thumbers, but hard to use if you're a pincher like me. And these aren't really top quality components, but they work fine, and after all, this is for beginners on a budget. The only thing missing from the goggles is a DVR, and if you're wondering, I'm recording this using my Sky Zones set to the same frequency channel as the EMAX goggles. On 1 and 2S batteries, I'm getting about 4 minutes flight time cruising around, which is fine. A couple of things that could be improved. It can be a bit difficult to see if the transmitter's turned on when you're outside in the sun. The LED on the center button isn't very bright. And for me, the goggles need a bit more focus adjustment, but this is always a very personal thing. And it could do with a better getting started guide. Although it tells you how to arm the quad, there's nothing about the flight modes or how to connect it to your PC and change things that you want to change in Betaflight. But overall, this is a really great package for beginners. I really had to do nothing much other than charge batteries and go flying, and all at a very sensible price. And as you get more experienced, you can easily upgrade the transmitter or the goggles as and when you can afford it. But then you're on the slippery slope to FPV addiction. And I'll leave links in the description where you can buy this and check out the latest prices. As always, thanks for watching, and if you found that useful, give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. And if you want to see more like this, remember to subscribe and hit the bell up here to get notified when I post new content. I'll see you next time.